Interviews from Oktoberfest 2015 brought to you by Red Wing Termite and Pest Control. Ellis County Abstract entitled Steel Fabrications.
I want to thank you for joining us here today. A lot of stuff happening down here. Municipal Park this year. So it's changed locations. We're just to the north of the park that we've used in previous years. And there's a lot of great things happening. A lot of it started this morning at 8:30. Don Westfall is with me. And Don,
yes.
The reason why I wanted to bring you in here is because first part here at 8:30 is Honor Our Heritage, and those activities are be kicking off any second now.
Yes, right.
You've got a lot to do with that, don't you?
That's right. Well, that is pretty much our responsibility. From 8:30 to about 11:30, we have school groups that are coming here, primarily school groups, for historical demonstrators and interpreters. In fact, from what I can tell, that's already underway out there now with Roosevelt Elementary School.
And I hear there's pony rides over there as well.
Well, they do have. I think you have to ride at a cart, miniature horses.
So you're not riding individual ponies? You
No,
as
far as I'm aware, you go in a cart.
Okay. I guess you can get more riders in that way.
Unless you can talk them into letting you actually ride on the pony.
We'll see if maybe we can get Jeff and Brandon, our camera crew, to go do that later on. Jeff says he's allergic to ponies.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Well, let's talk about some of the giveaways too. You've got some giveaways and souvenirs people can buy over here as well in your tent that's over here on the west side of the grounds.
That's right. We actually do have our own tent here in addition to this Honor Our Heritage component on the other side of the park. But we are in there, the Ellis County Historical Society, along with the Bukovina Society of the Americas and the Sunflower Chapter of AHSGR. And we are selling books and souvenirs related to Volga German history, but we also have some things to give away in there too. And we have a gun raffle going on as well.
Now, let's tell us about the gun raffle. When will that gun be given away?
That'll be December 4th at Christmas Open House.
Okay, so they can come down here and register for it. And
That's
if they
right.
can't make it down here today, I know some people are working or they're out of town. A lot of people watching on our stream here as well today on Hayes Post.
Right.
But if they would like to, is there another place or time that they can come register for that?
That's right. Well, at the Ellis County Historical Society.
Let's talk about the Historical Society. What's some of the displays that you have set up now?
Well, actually, the main one we've been promoting recently, as you're probably well aware, of course, from previous appearances, is Polo on the Plains, which is something that actually started earlier this year, but we continued the run of it because it was so popular. But that has to do with really sort of the British heritage more than anything else of Ellis County, where they brought a lot of their customs and traditions here, which ultimately resulted in polo being played here in Ellis County.
So a lot of people can see some of those traditions that we see down here at Oktoberfest
well, that's right.
at your museum.
That's right. Well, that certainly ties in with what we're doing here today. Of course, we primarily celebrate the German heritage, but we are also celebrating the history and heritage of all of Ellis County.
Well, I know that you're going to be down here most of the day.
That's
what
right.
time will your booth close down today? So if somebody wants to come down here and visit your booth and register for some of these prizes or even buy some of the souvenirs that you have on sale.
Well, actually, we're set to go to 7 p.m. unless things really die down for some reason.
I see you've got a computer set up over there. So can you take credit cards?
Well,
asking.
now we are not doing that, but maybe one of the other booths is doing that.
Okay.
But actually, the Sunflower Chapter does have a video that they are playing on Volga German history.
Okay, so people can see that down here as well.
That's right.
Well, I know there's a lot of people already down here this morning.
That's
what time
true.
do you come down and set up?
Oh, I get here between 7:30 and 8.
And how long have you been working on this?
Oh, we've been working on this for weeks, actually, or months, I should say, in some respects, because you almost start as soon as the last one ends, you start on the next one.
Mm-hmm. Well, I got down here this morning a first time at about 6:15 or so, and there was people already walking down here setting booths up. But now the second time that I'm down here, I'm already smelling food, and people are grilling, and it's really smelling well down here.
Oh, that's right. I know. I've been getting some comments on that already about the nice aroma around here.
Well, I do want to tell people, if you have a chance here today and you can't make it to the grounds and you want to make it quick in and out, NCK Tech is having a food drive down here, and it's a different kind of a food drive. Sometimes you see food drives or you hear food drives where people are donating food. No, on this one, this food drive, you drive up and you can get some food, like bierocks and brats. They have a lot of them available. And the Votech Culinary Arts program has been down cooking food for the last week or so they have enough food. So they are not going to run out from what I hear.
No.
And if you want to call ahead of time, if you want to write these numbers down, and we can give them throughout the morning and you'll hear us. In fact, we'll have them on later. I think Becky and Philip will be on the air with us a little later on this morning at about 10 o'clock with Becky Kaiser. The number is 785-639-7687. That's 639-7687. Or you can call 785-639-7688. Those are the numbers if you want to pre-order food. Now, it's pretty simple to see the drive-through. If you go down Main Street on the south side of Main Street or the south end of Main Street, you'll see a tent right in front of the Votech building, and it's on the west side of Main. So you'll see that, and there's space that's available right there. You can just pull up to the space that's available. You see it all coned off, and you'll see it pretty easily, and you can pick up your food.
That's right. It's like a fast food operation.
I know it is. Are you going to drive your vehicle through a couple of times? I
Well,
guess you
if
can just walk over.
Well, I can just walk over since it's right across the street.
Yeah, so there's a lot of things happening with that here today as well. So I know that we've got great things happening here at the Oktoberfest, and trying to work in a lot of different people this morning we want to talk to about their booths. You have a lot of people that help you. You have a lot of volunteers at the museum that help
That's
you
right.
throughout the year.
That's
Let's
right.
talk about some of those helpers. You've got volunteers. People can become members, and they can help as well.
That's right. We certainly encourage people to join because there are certain benefits to that. Free admission in the museum, 10% discount in the gift shop, things of that sort. But also it's just rewarding to be involved with an organization like that that is preserving the history and the heritage of Ellis County.
Very good.
And so those are the people who are volunteering today, as a matter of fact.
I know that a lot of people around the area can get free admission to the museum too, or discounted musician if they become a member.
Well, that's right. Yeah, you get you actually get in free if you're a member. But I'm glad you mentioned about discounted admissions because if you're a resident of Ellis County, you actually get half off. Normally it's $6 for an adult admission, but it's $3 if you live in Ellis County.
Well, I'll tell you, there are a lot of things happening down here. We've got the Honor Our Heritage activities, which Don is part of, and they get kicked off this morning at 8:30. From 11 to 11:30 today, there's the opening ceremony, the tapping of the keg, which happens at about 11:30 today. Want to let everybody know that there's music that will start up this morning at about 10:30, live music. Joe Dozal and Galen Schmidberger, they've got their polka band that starts at 10:30. TMP Choir will be here at 1 o'clock today. Rod Sipes at 1:30 and 3 o'clock today, and Gary Batt at 2 o'clock. And then at 5 o'clock tonight, there's a tribute band. Paramount will be here. So a lot of things happening that way as well. Now, this homecoming Oktoberfest happens throughout the weekend. Looks like at 1 o'clock, FHSU homecoming parade tomorrow in downtown Hayes. Then tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, the FHSU versus Washburn football game at Lewis Field. So there are many, many things to see and do down here. A lot of stuff is absolutely free. I was told just a little bit ago from some of the operators of this Oktoberfest, which is the 43rd one this year, that there are craft booths galore this year. And if you'd like to see all the crafts and there's crafts being sold down here, I see them all over. And I don't know, have you been over to visit them yet, Don?
I haven't had a chance yet. Once we get ours fully operating here, I'm going to go take a look at the others. But one thing we should mention, which I'm sure you probably have already, is what great weather we're having today compared to last year.
Yeah, well, even the year before where it was sleeting and raining.
Right,
so
yeah.
it's been really cold the last few years.
So, I mean, if people were hesitant to come down because they were worried about weather, they don't have to worry about that today.
No, not at all. Let's tell everybody as well that we should let everybody know that there's a lot of kids down here too. And
That's
the reason
right.
for the kids, I can hear them already. They've split up into many different groups, and they're
That's
walking
right.
through, and they're smelling the food. I see Victory Tigers over there as well. They're giving hugs to Victory Tiger. And they're also in your booth back behind us.
They are. I just noticed that. These are probably some of the ones that have already seen Abraham Lincoln and Catherine the Great, and now they've made their way back over here.
And I see corn shelling. People can see the corn shelling.
That's right.
And I know you've got a lot of different activities in there for the kids.
Yeah, I'm glad there's so much activity this early, actually.
Now, was that one of your decisions? I was thinking you were part of that decision to try to make this activity more family-oriented and get kids back down here again.
Yeah, that's right. We consulted with the Volga German Society, and they felt that it would be good to have in the first half of the day, prior to the tapping of the keg, more of a family-friendly, beer-free period when people could come down here either as part of a school group or families with young children and enjoy some of these activities.
So a lot of that activity as well. So one of the things I wanted to get to here, we talked about honoring our heritage, the historical demonstrations, interpreters.
Right, they're here now, and some of them will stay. For example, if you want to come a little later, you'll still get to see Abraham Lincoln and Catherine the Great.
Abe's going to be down here all day?
Pretty much, yeah.
All right.
I know. Maybe he's running for re-election or something. I don't know, but he seems to be pressing the flesh.
Well, we're seeing a politician down here. Imagine that.
That's
and then
right.
remember that, let's see, I was looking through my agenda here of other things happening. I think I covered it all actually earlier.
Very good.
So what I think we're going to do is we might go ahead and take a break early here this morning. I know Gerard's supposed to be on his way down here, and he'll be here with Curtis Hammocky in the AD's corner. They'll be joining us here at about 9:18 or so, and we'll get to him. So we'll go ahead and take a quick break right now, and we'll get back with you more on the stream and more here on KAYS. From Oktoberfest 2015, I'm Mike Kerner, along with Don from the Historical Society.
Very good. Thank you.
Interviews from Oktoberfest 2015 brought to you by Red Wing Termite and Pest Control. Ellis County Abstract and Title. Steel Fabrications. Hayes Planing Mill. Hearing Solutions. Vanderbilt of Hayes. Ellis County Historical Society. Master Cleaners. Carpet One. Tri-Central Office Supply. Truck Parts and Equipment. Auto Collision Specialist. Steiner Liquor. Emprise Bank of Hayes. Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau. Coldwell Banker Executive Realty. And Eagle Communications.
Curtis, how are you doing?
This is where we will be. This is where?
You need something, Gerard?
Yeah, my coffee's in my car.
Interviews from Oktoberfest 2015 brought to you by Red Wing Termite and Pest Control. Ellis County Abstract and Title. Steel Fabrications. Hayes Planing Mill. Hearing Solutions. Vanderbilt of Hayes. Ellis County Historical Society. Master Cleaners. Carpet One. Tri-Central Office Supply. Truck Parts and Equipment. Auto Collision Specialist. Steiner Liquor. Emprise Bank of Hayes. Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau. Coldwell Banker Executive Realty.
Hello again and welcome back to Oktoberfest 2015. It's time for a special edition of the AD's Corner as we talk 4-day state athletics with Athletic Director Curtis Hambeke. And again, we are live at the Oktoberfest grounds, starting to smell good. You can smell the food and there's going to be a nice crowd. Looks like a beautiful day for Oktoberfest. Which is brought to you on Friday mornings here on KOIS, brought to you in part by the Hayes Meadow Orthopedic Institute, the Taco Shop, G&L Tire and Automotive, Golden Belt Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams Brown, Barron and Ball, Couture for Men and Women, and Eagle Communications. As we said, joined by 4-day state athletic director Curtis Hambeke. Good to see you again. It's always a fun weekend, a fun day, and it's nice to have a light jacket on and not a heavy coat as we've had some days. Beautiful morning, as we talked about. You can smell the food already. It's going to be a fun day.
Yeah, it is. It's interesting to see also the new layout that they have here this year. Walking through the grounds and seeing the grade school kids here, and there's got some athletes out there with them, helping lead them around and to the different booths and some of the characters. I saw Abe Lincoln over there and Catherine the Great and then Victory Tiger, of course. And,
well, he fits right in with those.
Yeah, that's right. So, yeah, I think it's going to be interesting this year. Everything I've heard from everybody so far really thinks that this new layout's going to work pretty well. Yeah,
if you're unfamiliar, we're north of the dike this year instead of the traditional location on the south side. So where the Wild West Fest takes place, that is where Oktoberfest will take place. And, yeah, you're right. It looks like a very neat layout, and we've seen some activity. That's one of the changes. They've had some earlier activities with some of the school kids around Hayes, and I know the athletic department has been involved in that, sending down Victory Tiger, but some of the student athletes as well. To get them kind of some of the tradition, the Volga German, as well as you mentioned Abe Lincoln and some of those other things. That's been a nice little feature in addition that I know you guys are involved in.
Yeah, I think it's been a real neat deal. I think Brad Boyer has been very instrumental in getting that going, and it's important for the kids to learn the heritage of what this is all about, and I think they get an opportunity to do that. But at the same time, just by helping with some of the supervision, the athletes are there and get to interact with the kids, and so it's kind of a win-win situation, and having our athletes be a part of that with those grade school kids.
Well, it was a great weekend, unfortunately, for the final score of the football game last Saturday. But let's talk a little bit about tailgate. Great crowd. And what I noticed, there were a lot less people in the parking lot during the game this year, I think because it was a high marquee matchup. But what a tremendous atmosphere. Huge student crowd, just about a sellout. That was a lot of fun. And other than the final outcome, what a great night.
Yeah, I agree. I don't remember having quite that large of a crowd for a while. We probably did several years ago, and I can't remember, but that was one of the first times in recent years that I've seen the stadium, at least to appearance anyway, look to be completely full, and a lot of people on the track. There were a lot of kids down playing at the north end. And, all the little issues that you deal with when there's a great crowd, and it was a fantastic crowd, and they were there at the end too, and that was also impressive that the crowd stayed and stayed with it, and in support of the Tigers. So we're hoping to have more of the same this weekend, and we're going to need that kind of help and support to get through a big victory.
No, what I've noticed through the first two, and even though it wasn't as big because of all the weather situations for the first home game, but they've been an engaged crowd. They've been into the game, making noise at the right time, getting into it, and that makes it a lot of fun, and that's been really neat to see.
It sure is fun to hear the crowd explode, when we're able to. There's been a few times where we've had a really nice crowd over the years and just couldn't do anything offensively, and it just didn't give them a whole lot to cheer about. So even though we lost that game, there were great moments there where the crowd got to be really active and, hearing the touchdown catch over the middle to Zach Gahn, and he rolls in there, and what a great explosion from the crowd, and those are great things to hear, and that's what you go to the games for. You hope to hear that kind of excitement and the energy in the crowd.
I hope have a big crowd again tomorrow night. Again, wear your black out Lewis Field as Washburn comes to town for homecoming, and a lot of great events going on with homecoming. Kind of got it started yesterday. The bonfire, it was fun to be outside again, and a great crowd on a beautiful night weather-wise, and that's a lot of fun and really a great way for the students to kind of kick off this weekend.
That's really turned into a neat event, and I was real impressed again with the turnout. The crowd there last night was amazing, and the whole night was a cool evening, and it's something that when you first start saying you're going to do that, you don't know how it's going to go over, but as time's gone on, that has just become a really special event, and it was fun to watch the fire burn and burn and burn. It burned a long time, and really took a little while to get it started, but we didn't have the Dean Hazel horse out there to pour all the diesel fuel.
His
on
name
there,
got brought up a few times.
Yeah, I imagine it did, but it got going eventually.
Well, that was a lot of fun, and appreciate everybody from the Alumni Association, all the student organizations that put that on and make that go, because a lot of work goes into it, and it's a lot of fun meeting the King and Queen candidates, all the Alumni Award winners honored as well, and get a chance to give them some recognition. So it's a really fun event and really kicks off a great weekend. The parade tomorrow, and then obviously it culminates with the football game on Saturday night. So it's always a special time. I know there's some football reunions. I know some from the 90s are coming back, and that was a great era of Fort Hays State football, and that's always fun. That's been something I think you guys have tried to emphasize, and we've seen every year different teams come back and use homecoming weekend to kind of rekindle some of those great memories.
It really does feel like it's growing and growing in terms of getting people back to campus and more interest, and some of that probably coincides with the success of the football team, I imagine, but then they start paying more attention and start wanting to come back. But we do have a good group of football alums on campus, and I know there's a reunion this evening for them, and then tomorrow morning, Saturday morning, we usually take a tour. I lead a tour of the indoor facility and the football facilities for some of those people who haven't been back to campus for quite some time. So it's fun just to see the looks on their faces, especially, the indoor facility is always fun to show off, but that's a new feature that many of them haven't seen yet, and so there's the weekend's packed with activities and events going on, and also kind of an interesting twist, I think, to the alumni recipients this year. There's 3 of them that really have some tied athletics there, and I think that's kind of neat too.
Yeah, it is. And you kind of touched on it, but I would imagine for you have to really enjoy when you give that tour to those guys that haven't been back since maybe they played in the mid-'90s. Right. Let's take, for example, this year. I know there's one in the 80s last year or a year before that, but with the indoor facility, the improvements to Lewis Field, and just everything, I mean, it's got to be fun just to – I'm sure they're a little envious from what they had, but to know that they were a part of building all of this, because all of those former teams and former players, they all have a hand in that. You have to have some success to get facilities improved every year, and it's become an arms race in the MIAA in Division II. But to be a small part of that, it's got to be gratifying for you, and I'm sure for them as well.
Very much so. I ran into a couple of them at the golf tournament yesterday. Some names you might remember, like Lance Schwint and Sean Bear. Those guys. I haven't seen Sean Bear or either one of them here for a long time, and I know probably tomorrow will be their first time to take a look at that facility. And usually what they talk about is, hey, that was the practice field, and it was, most of them relate to what it was back when, and now to see the indoor facility and the growth of the program, I think is very exciting for them. And like you said, knowing that they laid the groundwork for a lot of that, and now, these are teams that are having success now that are compared to some of the successes they had. So they do have pride in that, and they want to see Tiger football excel.
And obviously, I mean, when you look at athletic programs, the past is important. You need that support in all different levels, monetary and other things, and engaging those former players. I mean, they can relate to it as much as anybody. I would think it becomes very important. It seems like you guys have made a concerted effort to do a better job and try to incorporate those guys more into the program and have more ownership even in the teams now.
Yeah, I don't think there's any question that we've tried to do that, and it's challenging because everyone has their job to do. We don't have someone specifically assigned to dealing with alumni, and I think it's such an important element that we almost should. You know, It's almost could be a year-round deal to try to keep them engaged because, you know, like anything else or any other profession, you don't want to be the only time you want to be contacted is to be asked for money or something. You want to have opportunities for them to feel a part of what's going on, and I think this weekend really provides that opportunity in a lot of ways, and people, you know, kind of like we talk about during Hall of Fame, you know, people like the idea that they haven't been completely forgotten and lost, and those years aren't gone, and they can come back and now show a lot of things to their kids and their family, and that who didn't get to see it back when they were a pup.
Well, and you know, you'll remember a lot of those names from some of those teams, guys that are back, so I'm sure they'll have fun if you run into them, say hi, because I know a lot of folks still remember some of those Tigers on some great teams, a couple of playoff teams in the early and mid-'90s. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to come back, talk some more athletics with Fort Hays State Athletic Director Curtis Hammocky. It's a special edition of the 80s Corner from the Oktoberfest grounds here in Hays, and we're back with more right after this.
Interviews from Oktoberfest 2015 brought to you by Red Wing Termite and Pest Control. Ellis County Abstract and Title. Steel Fabrications. Hayes Planing Mill. Hearing Solutions. Vanderbilt of Hayes. Ellis County Historical Society. Master Cleaners. Carpet One. Tri-Central Office Supply. Truck Parts and Equipment. Auto Collision Specialist. Steiner Liquor. Emprise Bank of Hayes. Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau. Coldwell Banker Executive Realty. And Eagle Communications.
Special edition of the 80s Corner here on KAYS and streaming online, HaysPost.com. Gerard Walbrock, Fort Hays State Athletic Director Curtis Hammocky. We're at the Oktoberfest grounds. Everybody cranking up for what should be a gorgeous day today. You can smell the food cooking already. Maybe have to make an early sample run just to do a little quality control, you and I, when we get down here.
Bad.
Someone's got to do that. We're talking 4-day state athletics, obviously big homecoming. Soccer at home this weekend, both having very good seasons. The men kind of had a little hiccup last Sunday, but nationally ranked. And they're both at home tonight and then both at home on Sunday. You don't get too many of those double headers during the year, but you have two of them. Great opportunity to see some good soccer if you're into that.
Right. I think Sunday, I think there's a big promotion going on. We're going to have dollar hot dogs and popcorn and things like that. And then, but it's going to be free admission on Sunday. So, looking for a big crowd out there Sunday, doing kind of a homecoming special, free admission for a doubleheader of soccer, and like I said, the dollar hot dogs and popcorn, things like that. Hoping to get a lot of soccer kids out there and support the Tigers.
Well, and I know, like wrestling, they have a lot of alums back. Baseball always has a nice alumni weekend.
Yeah.
And we talked about how football re-engaging some of those players, but even the other sports really use this weekend as a great opportunity to bring in some of the players of the past, kind of update them on the facilities and have a lot of fun and leading into the football game tomorrow night.
It's across the board. That's a good point. I mean, wrestling has an event tomorrow morning where they're gonna get out there a little bit in the Coliseum. I know softball's playing. I think this afternoon maybe. And baseball has they don't play the game anymore. They just take they take batting practice.
Some of those guys are a little bit older.
And but they all do engage and bring their alums back. And unless their team's out of town this weekend, which that happens for like volleyball, for example, this year. But for the most part, it's a great opportunity for all the teams to bring back those who helped build their programs in the past.
And speaking of volleyball, they had a rough Friday last week in Emporia, but boy, they really turned it around and got a straight sets win at number 7 Washburn. Huge win for the program. Hopefully gets them going, but that was a great win for them, and they're on the road this weekend. They've got number 13 Central Missouri tonight, but some good young talent, and hopefully that can get them going in the right direction. But that was a huge program win last Saturday.
Yeah, it really was. I really hope that helps get them over the top and get moving in the right direction. They've really come right up to it several times in the last few years. One thing I've noticed, they've lost so many close matches.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they get to that point in the match where it's 20-20 and it's going to go either way. And it seems like so frequently that we're not able to find the way to pull those off. But I tell you, at Washburn, you know, all 3 of those sets went, over the regulation time, and 27-25, 28-26, 29-27. But to not only beat them in straight sets, who were unbeaten at the time, but to beat them in that fashion, I think was very impressive. So hopefully they build on that and move forward. And I know they got a tough weekend this weekend on the road, but it'd be sure nice to continue that trend.
Well, they get a chance against the 13th ranked team in the country in Warrensburg this evening, then on to Lindenwood. But yeah, a win over a top 10 program hasn't happened a lot in volleyball, and it's a tough conference for volleyball, but that was a great win for the Tigers. You can hear some of the kids behind us. That's one of the new features. They have the elementary kids here going through some of the tours, and they're behind us now, and they're having a great time.
Sounds like they're having fun, yeah.
So maybe they've got to sample some of the food. But we certainly encourage you to come on out here a little bit later on today for Oktoberfest, and we'll be broadcasting live here throughout the morning, and eventually the opening ceremonies a little bit later on around 11 o'clock. Yeah. But should be a lot of fun. The parade tomorrow, all the activities going on, football game, and certainly hope to get a big crowd out there again, and some tailgaters. That's what's neat. The fun about, I think, tailgate, and then homecoming gets that as well. And you saw a little bit of it in week 1. The weather kind of dampened that, but more people tailgating, just a fun atmosphere around the stadium. And that's, I think, one of the unique things to college football, especially at this level, to just the game day atmosphere leading into the game. It's a lot of fun, and it seems like it coincides, I'm sure, with the success of the team, but more people wanting to do that, get involved, have fun, tailgate before, leading up to the game. This makes for a great atmosphere on Saturday.
Oh, it really does. It's a lot of fun, and I think the student body coexisting with the adult community on tailgate and today or this weekend, surely will be similar to what it was before. I do think it coincides with the success of the program because we haven't had a whole lot of that, where the student body got involved with the tailgating near to the extent that they did last weekend. And, through different things, there was some trash left out there. There were some negative aspects to that whole thing, some of the music too loud, inappropriate music, and we're trying to address some of those things because we don't want to steer them away. We don't want to lose a student body. We had almost 1,600 students
Wow.
at that game, which was phenomenal, and a lot of them came out of that parking lot. So we want to take steps to allow them to better coexist with the, be courteous and respectful of the neighbors who are in the parking lot and that type of thing, and get the trash picked up and keep the music to a responsible level.
Right.
Just some silly things like that can go a long way towards keeping feelings good about that being a really, really positive experience, and we really want that to happen. We just want to make sure we're doing some things to keep it from that great positive becoming a negative.
Exactly.
It's a fine line.
It is, and usually common sense goes a long way, but hopefully a big crowd tailgating again tomorrow. And with the night game, and I know that it's been quite a few years now, but it just seems to make homecoming. I know in years past the parade was at 10, the game was at 1 or 2, whatever it was. It was a crammed Saturday. It's a little bit easier to take in the activities and do those things with the night game, the parade at 1 o'clock. It seems to be an easier day, and that's been one of the nice features. I know there's a lot of questions moving it to a night game, how would it go, but it just seems to make the actual homecoming day a little bit better for everybody.
It's worked well for us, I think. I think there are it has been brought up continually in the last couple of years, whether or not it's better to play the afternoon game. So I know that's not going to be an ongoing discussion whether we go back to that, and that's on the horizon, I think. But I think you can argue both sides of it. I think there's very good points to being an afternoon game, very good points to being an evening game, and regardless of which way it is, we're going to make it work, and hopefully that it's going to be a great situation for everybody here.
Well, maybe a late afternoon game. We can come in the middle somewhere. We do play. There is a 3 o'clock kick later this year at Missouri Southern, so maybe we'll have to see. But it certainly should be a lot of fun. Wear your black tomorrow. Black out Lewis Field. Let's pack it again. It was a great atmosphere, and we haven't really talked about the game. Huge game, and as big as last week was, and it was a big game. Tomorrow's even bigger because both are 3-1. The winner of this one, you're still in the hunt for a conference championship, and both have the teams that are tied for first to play yet. So you still control your own destiny. So as big as last week was, really tomorrow night's even a bigger game for both programs.
Well, I agree with that, and I think what's changed is, in the years past, in recent, Coach Brown's done such a good job each year, like you said, improving the program. But the losses have come early, and the wins have come late, and frequently the losses have dictated the crowds, because they happened early, and then so some of that late season success has really gone unnoticed until you see the end record and that type of thing. Even last year, we had a lot of good wins late in the year,
and a lot on the road.
And on the road. So if we can get some wins at home, like you mentioned, and early in the season like this, then you can hopefully maintain some crowds throughout the year. So that's a big thing, I think, to keep the community engaged. And a big part of that is having success early in the season, and that's why right now this is a huge, huge game to stay in that conference championship race moving forward, because we got a lot of great home games left.
Darn it, we're due to beat the Bods. They've won 6 in a row. We got to change that trend tomorrow night.
It's time. It's time.
Curtis, we appreciate it. Enjoy homecoming. I know it's a busy weekend for you as well. We really appreciate you taking a little bit of time out of your Friday morning to come out here and visit with us. We really enjoy it. Looking forward to what should be a fun weekend of activities, culminating in a great football game with Washburn on Saturday night. We certainly wish everybody safe and enjoy homecoming weekend, and hope to see you out at the stadium on Saturday. But we appreciate your time.
Thanks, Gerard.
It's Curtis Hammocky, Athletic Director at Fort Hays State. That's going to wrap up our 80s Corner here this morning on KAYS and streaming online at HaysPost.com. It's brought to you by the Hayes Med Orthopedic Institute, The Taco Shop, G&L Tire and Automotive, Golden Bell Bank of Hayes and Ellis, Adams Brown, Barron and Ball, Couture for Men and Women, and Eagle Communications. Again, the Tigers tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Lewis Field. You can hear it on Tiger Radio Mix 103. 6 o'clock with the Auto World pregame show, but we want to see you wearing black. Let's black out Lewis Field as the Tigers take on the Ichabod. For Curtis Hammocky, Gerard Walbrock, so long. More from Oktoberfest coming right after this.
Interviews from Oktoberfest 2015 brought to you by Red Wing Termite and Pest Control. Ellis County Abstract and Title. Steel Fabrications. Hayes Planing Mill. Hearing Solutions, Vanderbilt of Hayes, Ellis County Historical Society, Master Cleaners, Carpet One, Tri-Central Office Supply, Truck Parts and Equipment, Auto Collision Specialist, Steiner Liquor, Emprise Bank of Hayes, Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau, Caldwell Banker Executive Realty, and Eagle Communications.
It is KAYS Hayes, and of course, also on HayesPost.com, watching and listening to Oktoberfest 2015. I had my list over here of how many years it's been that we've had it down here. 43rd year. So a lot of stuff happening, including history, heritage, and the homecoming weekend with Fort Hays State University. A lot of smells down here. They pretty good smells, right, Eric?
Fantastic.
Eric is with me right now. Eric Grosbich, and I should say Dr. Eric Grosbich, because, I mean, you earned it. You went to school for a long time for it.
We created it. It's done.
And where are you working right now?
I am the Dean of Students at University of Missouri, Kansas City.
But you are a graduate of Fort Hays State
I am
University.
a two-time graduate of Fort Hays State University.
And the reason why I brought you in here and I'm talking to you a little bit is because Eric is the president of the Alumni Association. Did I get your title right?
You are correct, sir.
Good, because I was one of the ones voted for you.
Yeah, you did. You said yes, and the whole process went down.
Good. Well, we wanted to bring you in because we talk about homecoming weekend and we talk about Oktoberfest a lot of time going hand in hand because it is the same weekend, and we talk about the alumni. There's a lot of people that come back for reunions this weekend. A lot of people come back for the game, and we see a lot of alums that we don't typically see. And it's nice to have them all come back, but we also want them to be a member of the Alumni Association at Fort Hays State University, don't we?
That's correct, Mike. You know, you start, when you graduate, you become a member. So our bronze membership is that first level of membership. But what we really want to see is our students and our alumni move forward into the golds, silvers, and platinum, as well as diamond levels.
You know, you see this Facebook where everybody keeps in touch with everybody. It's a big thing. I don't know if you've heard about that Facebook thing or not.
There's a rumor about it, yeah.
But the Alumni Association is another way you can stay in touch with all your friends, too, and keep in touch with what's happening at the university. And there's so many things that you get. You can get your Tiger license plate, of course. You can get invites to different events. Of course, they have the chapter events, which happen all over the country.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's one coming up down in Albuquerque.
Really?
Charlene's getting out there, and then there's some down in Texas. You know, it really is a great way, Mike, to reconnect with your friends and your colleagues that you spend a lot of time with, whether that be at Oktoberfest or down at the Q.
You know, I talked to somebody recently, and they said they just recently had one of those chapters in Houston, Texas.
That's
Great
right.
turnout down there. I know there's one in a couple weeks here in Salina as well.
Yeah, you know, it really is a great time just to reconnect and get involved. One of the things we want the Alumni Association, as we're nearing our 100-year anniversary next year, is really to help those alums to get connected with our current students as well. You know, Dr. Martin has made a great push for us to create mentoring programs. programs for our current students, help them retain, graduate, move forward. And so it really is an important place for us to bring those alumni in, connect with those undergraduate students, so they're not only making the friendships that they made when they were here on campus, but starting to create those new friendships with the current students.
Well, I told Dr. Martin when I talked to her when this whole thing was coming up back in June, this mentoring program, that I think it's a wonderful program to have, not only for the students and their connections, but the people that are mentoring. They can give some tips to these kids coming through their college and maybe help them find jobs, maybe give them some connections along the road, maybe to find those jobs, and maybe somebody else can help give them some tips too along the way. So I think it's a really good way to bring the students up and help them, I guess, find jobs and be prosperous in life.
Yeah, you know, we always want people to give back to the university, and you know, a lot of people think that we just want their money. And well, yeah, we'll always open up your checkbook, but what we're really looking for is those ways to give back, connect with our students. You know, we're not all making lots of money, but we can all have our knowledge, our experiences that can really help these students be successful as they move forward. And the opportunity to engage, do that through a mentoring program, whether organized or not, really is a great opportunity.
And I think it's a great way to stay in touch, though, with the university. One of the things that I'm doing, and I don't know, I guess you've heard about it too, there's a show during halftime at Fort Hays State University football games on the radio on Mix 103 that I'm doing, and it's because I'm with the Alumni Association. I want to let people know about the great things alums are doing out there in the communities that they live in all over the world. And one of the things that I ask them all the time is, what are you doing now? And a lot of times I'll ask them, what kind of memories did they have during their term or their time at Fort Hays State University? And with you, I may ask you that question. Going back to your time at Fort Hays State University, when were you there? Just a couple of years ago, right?
Yeah, just I had a little bit of hair at that time. I started, just a very little. I came here on a football scholarship, played for a couple of years, and then ended up getting involved in student life and student activities on campus, mainly through the residence halls. And so I'm probably one of the few people who could say they lived in Wiest Hall for 7 years.
Wow.
With 2 degrees, but it was that, so I'm kind of excited to see that one go away.
Now, when you came here for Fort Hays, who was the Fort Hays coach that recruited you? You remember?
Vincent. John Vincent was the coach, and then Bob Cortez was my second coach there. Yeah.
Very good. So you had a good time there.
It was a learning experience.
Especially with Bob, I'll bet.
Yes.
But a lot of people have those memories, and that's what I wanted to ask you. What are some of the other memories you had? You had the football program that you remember, but I'm sure there's some academic memories that you have, some teachers that you remember as well throughout your time here, and some memories of being in Wiest Hall.
Yeah, I think the opportunity to engage with these faculty members. So Jerry Stark and Tom Gus, I did a business undergrad and a master's in counseling, and so really to work through and learn those pieces have absolutely prepared me for my real world experience, I guess you could say. And so I think those things, and then really getting involved in the residence halls, the Wiest Hall Nut Fry, all those other activities that used to be regulars down at the Bijou and so forth, really have kind of created those opportunities to create friendships forever.
I remember the years where you'd see T-shirts around even made up for those fries and such.
Yep, I remember designing those T-shirts, Mike. It was
and
fun time.
So you're at now at UMKC, and what are you kind of helping with students there do?
My role at UMKC is I supervise all of our auxiliary services and our residence halls, and so really is creating the environment for them to be successful. Again, the government has told us there's 3 ways to be successful: retain, graduate, and find jobs. And so that's really what we're trying to push for there, and it's what I think this mentoring program that the Alumni Association can help us do here as well.
Very good. And now you are helping with the Alumni Association. What are you doing in town this weekend? What's some of your plans?
It is really just a great opportunity to be back. This is the first time I've been back for Oktoberfest since I graduated. And so I'm excited to catch some beer rocks and some bratwurst. Going to show the kids around here a little bit. We're going to enjoy the chapter symposium, leadership symposium tomorrow morning, where we bring those Alumni Association chapters back to learn, grow, connect, so that we can push forward this mentoring program and those opportunities. And then looking forward to the parade.
Yeah, I know the chapter development is a really big push right now, and we're trying to work that out really to be even bigger than it is right now and get more people involved with Fort Hays State University all across the globe, and maybe they can bring their kids along and they'll be Tigers in the future.
Tigers for life, man. That's what we're going to try to do.
I guess so. Well, anything else? I guess your wife, she's from Hays, so she's probably, this is bringing back memories for her too.
Yeah, she's got 2 degrees from Fort Hays as well, and her family's got about 7 between them. So she's excited to be back and be part of this, and the kids are going to enjoy it today.
Well, I'll tell you what, we're going to take a quick 3-minute break. We'll do that here right now, and then we'll be back. We might have another guest here hovering around. Oh, yeah, Becky's got somebody coming up, too. So we'll kind of introduce Becky Kaiser, and she'll be along with us here in just a few minutes. But, Eric, thanks for coming here, and welcome to Hayes again. I know you come here quite a bit, but, again, thanks a lot for coming and talking to us about the Alumni Association, where you can become a member. Again, this is 14 KAYS and Hayes Post. I'm Mike Kerner. Thanks for being with us.
Interviews from Oktoberfest 2015 brought to you by Red Wing Termite and Pest Control. Ellis County Abstract and Title. Steel Fabrications. Hayes Planing Mill. Hearing Solutions. Vanderbilt of Hayes. Ellis County Historical Society. Master Cleaners. Carpet One. Tri-Central Office Supply. Truck Parts and Equipment. Auto Collision Specialist. Steiner Liquor. Emprise Bank of Hayes. Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau. Coldwell Banker Executive Realty. And Eagle Communications.
KAYS Hayes. I'm Becky Kaiser. Welcome back to KAYS Radio and Hayes Post. We are at Oktoberfest. How much fun is it? Beautiful weather out here. And I have with me Kevin Rupp, who is the Sunflower Chapter President of, and I have to read it off of here, Kevin, American Historical Society of Germans from Russia. And Kevin, you have a big, besides today, another big opportunity coming up this weekend. Tell us about it.
Yeah, this is our big weekend. A couple years ago, we became partners with the Oktoberfest committee, and on that same weekend, we have what they call a Kansas roundup of chapters of the American Historical Society of Germans from Russia. We have 3 main chapters in Kansas. One is in Topeka, one is in Wichita, and then one is here in Hayes. And once a year, we all get together and have what they call as a roundup. The roundup was started, probably about 30 years ago, as a way for those people who are not able to go to the international convention with HSGR, which is usually held in states around, the United States. Like this year, we had it in Billings, Montana. Next year, it'll be in California. Some people from Hayes remember it being in Hayes in 2007. We had about 600 people that came in Hayes that year for a great celebration. Well, for those people who can't attend those conventions, we have a local roundup. We bring in, it's a one-day event starting at 8 in the morning with registration. Programs, business meeting starts at 9. After the business meeting, then we go into our programs. It lasts all day. We have a meal. In the evening, about 6 o'clock, we have a banquet, and then we have a banquet speaker. It's at Whiskey Creek. Again, this year we've had it there for a couple of years now. And this year, Topeka chapter is hosting it. Our chapter in Hayes, Sunflower chapter, will host it next year. This year, our banquet speaker is going to be Dr. Brian Pinknell from Manhattan, Kansas. And he was instrumental in being associated with the Winter Olympics in Sochi, Russia.
Yeah, so exciting.
So we are very excited to have him with us and speak to us.
Wonderful to hear from him. And of course, this is a great opportunity, and one of your purposes, Kevin, is to find out more about the heritage of Germans from Russia. And that's what we're talking about down here at Oktoberfest, is we have a lot of heritage down here, and there is a core group, and you certainly know the history about the Germans who emigrated from Russia.
That's correct. So many of the people who started this stuff, like Rupert von Steele, Francis Shippers, Lawrence Weigel, knew all that stuff. But unfortunately, that generation is dying out. So it's up to my generation now to keep that going. And it's up to our generation to see that the next generation perpetuate the history and the music of our people.
So let's talk about some of these opportunities to find out some of that history. You have a number of guests, as you said, coming in. A lot of research is going to be available and teaching and training people
Yes.
how to find out more about their families.
Yes. Every year we do have people come down from our main headquarters, which is in Lincoln, Nebraska. And our director will be down here, and our research librarian will be down here. She will give a talk in the afternoon about the different things that are in the research library up in Lincoln, Nebraska. She will basically kind of give a PowerPoint discussion of what's available, how you can research your family, and items like that. Mike Meisinger, he is vice president of our chapter, or not of our chapter, but of the society, and he will be talking about Family Search, which is online.
The technology has really made a difference.
Oh,
hasn't it?
definitely. Now we have partnership with Family Tree Maker, with Family Search, and you can go online and you can look for obituaries now. And a lot of our people from our society donate or share these obituaries, and they put them online for people to do research.
Absolutely fascinating. So with the research online, and then also, and a lot of Kansas digital newspapers today are digital, but we also are seeing the newspapers from the 1800s that are being digitized as well.
Oh, definitely. That's one thing we want to do is like the older editions of the papers. We would like to get those digitized. So
one
of our speakers, Gary Hubert, was supposed to be here as one of our speakers talking about digitalizing newspapers, but he was not able to make it this year. So, but we do have a full slate of programs that we're going to have this year, so it should be great. Gary Bott, who will be down here at the Oktoberfest this morning, will be at the Roundup tomorrow playing for us in between everything.
And maybe you can hear that polka music going in the background, which is going to crank up here anytime soon. So you'll be down here at Oktoberfest, and a reminder, we're on the north side of the dike this year in Municipal Park, and you have your booth set up nearby where we are broadcasting from, Kevin, and you've got all kinds of information for people.
Yeah, if you want to join us, we'd like to have more people join our society. Our society does meet about 3 times a year. We meet out at Munger Parish Hall. We put out a newsletter that we do. It's about 3-4 times a year.
That looks like a news booklet to me.
It was pretty big this time.
We had
a lot of
there.
stuff there because this is our busy month. Our main society does do a journal, which we put out as well. To join our organization, we do have member dues, which are $10, and the main society has dues as well. For basic membership with them is $35. So for $45, you can join the local and the international, and you will get our newsletter. Or you can join for $60, which is $10 for our chapter, $50 for the international, and you will get the journal plus the newsletter. Now, if you come down to the Oktoberfest, we will waive that local chapter dues. So you can join for basically $35 or for $50
So come on down.
today. So we hope to get some
Oktoberfest.
more members.
Absolutely. Kevin, thank you so much. Again,
Very
we've been
welcome, Becky.
visiting with Kevin Rupp, who's the president of the Sunflower Chapter of the American Historical Society of Germans from Russia, and they have their roundup tomorrow. Come down and find out
Whiskey
about more
Creek.
information at Whiskey Creek. They've got their booth behind us. We're going to go to some polka music now coming from our studio, and we will be back at 10 o'clock and find out about some of the great German food that is available down here at Oktoberfest. We'll be back. I'm Becky Kaiser.
Interviews from Oktoberfest 2015 brought to you by Red Wing Termite and Pest Control. Ellis County Abstract and Title. Steel Fabrications. Hayes Planing Mill. Hearing Solutions. Vanderbilt of Hayes. Ellis County Historical Society. Master Cleaners. Carpet One. Tri-Central Office Supply. Truck Parts and Equipment. Auto Collision Specialist. Steiner Liquor. Emprise Bank of Hayes. Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau. Coldwell Banker Executive Realty. And Eagle Communications.
KAYS Hayes. I'm Becky Kaiser, and welcome back to KAYS Radio Hayes Post. We are live at Oktoberfest in downtown Hayes in Municipal Park north of the dike this year. Hope that you can come down and join us. The weather is absolutely perfect, and the aromas are perfect. And some of those aromas are thanks to NCK Tech culinary students. I have with me Philip Kuhn, who is an instructor for the, well, basically it's a fairly new program, Philip, right?
Yes, this is his second year.
The second year. Now, if you don't know Philip, and Jeff behind the camera found out that he knows Philip's dad really well. You are a native of Hayes, Philip.
Yes, I am. Yes.
TMP grad?
Yep.
And so where did you learn your chef skills?
I graduated from the Art Institute of Colorado out in Denver, and a 2-year program. I graduated back in 2007.
Okay, so you've been doing this for a while. Let's talk about you. What attracted you to culinary skills in this industry?
I grew up in the industry. I started cooking at home for my 3 little sisters at around 9, and from there I was actually a part with the VFW here years back when I was 14. So that was my first original job.
They're well known for some pretty good cooking coming out of there.
So, and then I just traveled around the state of Kansas, troubleshooting and managing restaurants for the last 10 years, and and it's a real passion of mine, and I enjoy cooking and the atmosphere of it. So,
well, you know, we see a lot more of the cooking shows on television now, and it has become something that more people are aware of, and the importance of food and fueling our bodies, which I think is probably the main thing, but it has to be prepared well, and that takes some skills. So talk to us a little bit about the culinary program, and how did you become involved with it in the first place? And again, it is fairly new, starting your second year.
Well, I was originally, about 2 years ago, I was at Boot Hill Casino running their operation.
In Dodge City.
In Dodge City. And NCK Tech reached out, and they wanted to start a culinary program in Hayes. And I said, absolutely, I'd love to move back to Hayes and take that over. And the industry really needs it. They need chefs out in the communities and in these restaurants. So I moved back and started it from scratch. And we go through a curriculum that I've set up to where it's a lot of classical knife skills at the very beginning, teaching them how to utilize their knives.
And there are lots of different knives to use for different purposes.
Yes, I have a company that I work with at the beginning of every school year to customize knife kits for the kids, so they actually get their own knife kits and they're able to take those with them after they graduate the program.
I have, again, seeing some of these programs on television, that's very important to a chef, that, it might it be individualized for that chef's particular passion, interest, and skills.
Yeah, I teach different ways to sharpen the knife and utilize the knives according to their level of skill and what they're comfortable of, how to grip a knife, or how to utilize it in different cutting techniques.
And these are tools, and not necessarily inexpensive either.
No. Yes, they're quite a pretty penny, but yes.
Well, so tell us, where are the students learning? Where are you doing this at?
We're up actually at the Hadley Center on 8th Street in the Rose Garden kitchen. That's where we're operating right now.
So there is a hands-on opportunity for the culinary students to learn to cook.
Yep, and I have my classroom out at the main campus of NCK Tech, and I teach Serve Safe, so it's a nationally accredited program that allows them to get their sanitation degree. It's very important, especially the health inspectors love to see that as well. So.
Absolutely, yeah. Got to keep people safe. Very important part of that. So, well, we want to make sure that everybody knows, this is, I believe this is the first time, obviously, that you've done this, is part of that great aroma that we can smell down here at Municipal Park is actually right across the street on the west side of Main, in front of the NCK Tech campus, the South Campus. Great big tent, and we have wonderful food that's been prepared by your students. Tell us about this.
Yes, it's actually the first year for the drive-through, and we prepared beer rocks, one of my famous recipes. So
is it a secret recipe? Secret ingredients?
There's a few twists into it that I don't indulge.
That's what I thought. You're not going to tell us, are you?
But rest assured, I keep with the German heritage. So there's no cheese in it. So
good.
And then we also have brats that were provided to us by EMS, and the Lions Club brought us beer rocks. So it's actually a lot of us coming together to make this drive-through possible.
And I talked with Stephanie Eckroat this morning, one of the admissions counselor and recruiter, and she said there was kind of a last-minute decision about some soup.
Yes. I made yesterday. I decided to make some green bean and dumpling soup.
Oh.
So there's a limited supply, but rest assured that it is very good. So
oh man!
If you have the opportunity, come down and grab some before it's gone.
So tell us how this drive-through is going to work, Philip.
So we're set up right here on Main Street, and we have coned off about 50 feet back on the street, and you're able to just drive up, and a student will come out and ask you what you would like to have, and then we'll grab that for you, and we'll just get it right into your car, and you can just drive right off. Kind
of like the drive-up window that we're used to.
Yep.
Super. So we want to talk a little bit about, again, the cooking skills, Philip. What do people, once they have graduated, and you told us about your professional experience, but where would you expect these students to go? What are they hoping to achieve?
Well, it all depends on the individual student. Everyone has different aspires to life, and one of the first questions I ask through the school year is what would you like to do, and that actually changes. I ask that 3 times during the school year because it changes as they learn different skills throughout the year.
Sure.
And some of these students, they'll go off and they'll work in freestanding restaurants. Some of them have even wanted to go to the cruise ships. That's always a possibility. Casinos, hotel operations. There's a vast array of jobs out there for the culinary world. So it all depends on really what they want to do and where their first real experience that they want out of the culinary school is.
Now, you talked to us about them learning their knife skills, working with those knives, and then you talked about the food safety and sanitation skills. What else are they going to learn in the program?
So during the first semester, we go through the sanitation, and then we go through purchasing, so how to order food, what normal prices should be, how market prices work for beef, and knowing what's going on around the world or in your local community that will affect those prices. So purchasing is a big thing that we talk about. Menu recipe development, so developing menus, developing different recipes. Every chef has their signature dishes, and then through the years you come up with a signature dish every about 1 to 2 years.
What's your signature dish?
I have a few of them. I have a white chocolate cheesecake that I do very well, and I have a tortellini with vodka sauce with smoked salmon.
Oh, yeah.
And my most recent one was a grilled pork with Himalayan salt, wrapped in applewood smoked bacon with a balsamic glaze.
Oh my gosh! Now, Himalayan salt?
Pink Himalayan salt.
From Himalaya?
Yeah.
Ah. So why is that better than regular Morton salt?
It's just a different flavor profile. It accents the pork very well, and that's why I use that instead of kosher salt. It's good, but the pink Himalayan salt just changes that flavor profile just enough to, especially accent the sauce, the balsamic glaze on as well.
Sounds delicious. So. Well, you talk about that the students need to pay attention to the market locally and globally. We've been hearing a lot recently about now the term's escaping me, but local food and not having to transport it clear across the country.
Yeah, there's a concept
local may be better.
There's a concept called farm to table.
Yes, farm to table.
That's what you might, and it's all about getting from a reputable supplier, making sure that you're purchasing your product. I know personally there's meat packing plants that I use locally in Kansas that I try to get my meat from.
And certainly we are in the middle of beef country, absolutely.
Yes. And so we have great beef out here, and I like to utilize that within the community wherever I can. The customer can appreciate it and know that it's coming from a local area.
Also, something else that's kind of been in the news recently is apparently we Americans toss a lot of food.
Yes.
How sad is that? And I know there are some awareness movements about that. How do you train somebody how do you ever know how much food you're going to need when the number of people coming into your restaurant can vary so much at any time?
Well, and this is a great way to teach it, and I utilize this project to do that. We take the recipe that's given to us, and then we break it down to an individual portion, and then when we maximize it to a mass proportion to dollars and cents. So when I make 1,200 beer rocks, I have no meat left over, no cabbage left over at the end of it. So, and making sure in menu development as well, we allow for a process where we make sure that the products that we're using are utilized in different aspects of the menu, so we're not wasting or sitting on product that's not being utilized.
So when students are about to finish your program at NCK Tech in the Culinary Arts, Philip, do they have a final project or presentation that they have to do for you?
Yes, I usually do a final practical, a cooking practical, and it consists of an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert. And they have a time limit. Generally, it's 2 days. 2 days for cooking, and they have 2 days for the initial prep, the book work that goes into it, the thought process, the costing, the purchasing of that food. So, and then at the end of it, they present it, and I look it over and critique it, and off they go.
And by looking over, you mean taste test?
Taste it, yes.
Yum, yum.
I taste a lot of food.
I bet you do. And yet you stay so slim. No, how do you even do that? I would have gained 300 pounds probably. So we want to, and I have to laugh because when I was talking to Stephanie over here at the drive-through booth a little earlier, they were talking about being open from 11 a.m. till 2 p.m. as you said, but she pointed out that or until we sell out. So obviously, you've done that math and figuring out how much food you're going to need, but I have a feeling that you may not be able to keep it open till 2.
I'm going to try very hard.
Okay.
So, but that depends on the volume and,
Sure.
and what kind of turnout we get today. But it's a beautiful day, and it looks like we should be busy down here.
It's gorgeous. We invite everyone to come down and enjoy Oktoberfest. And if you're in a hurry, you can go through the booth, the drive-through booth at NCK Tech, the Culinary Arts Program. We've been talking with Chef Philip Kuhn, and we appreciate your insight to this, and we appreciate meeting you and finding out more about the program, Philip. And thank you so much for being with us and giving the students the opportunity to do this. I think they're learning a lot. You bet. We're going to take a quick break, about 3 minutes. We'll be back with more from Oktoberfest 2015. I'm Becky Kaiser.
Interviews from Oktoberfest 2015 brought to you by Red Wing Termite and Pest Control. Ellis County Abstract and Title. Steel Fabrications. Hayes Planing Mill. Hearing Solutions. Vanderbilt of Hayes. Ellis County Historical Society. Master Cleaners. Carpet One. Tri-Central Office Supply. Truck Parts and Equipment. Auto Collision Specialist.
I'm going to.
Steiner Liquor. Emprise Bank of Hayes. Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau.
Yes.
Caldwell Banker Executive Realty. And Eagle Communications.
And welcome back to Oktoberfest 2015. I'm Becky Kaiser. You're listening to KAYS Radio and watching us on Hayes Post. Joining us now is Ed Howell, Director of Police at Fort Hays State University. We're glad to have you down here. It's a busy weekend.
Yes, it is, and good morning.
Good morning. You know, of course, we talk a little bit about the safety concerns for Oktoberfest, and I know that you always work together with Hays Police Department and Campus Police, just making sure you want people to have a good time, but be sensible about it.
Be sensible, use moderation. If you decide that you are going to take part in the festivities as it relates to the alcohol consumption, we request that you do not drive. Obviously, drinking and driving, we don't want that to occur. We have services that are in play. We have the Safe Ride. We also have convenience cab and everything else, so please take advantage of those. Otherwise, you might have to meet some of my counterparts, and they may have to do an enforcement action.
And hopefully that doesn't happen.
That is correct.
You know, and you've been very involved with Safe Ride, which is, it's been around for a while now.
For a long time.
It's been very successful.
It has.
Tell us how it works.
Well, part of the funding associated with the Safe Ride is kind of two parts. You have the Student Government Association that funds it through credit hour, an assessment on tuition, a certain percentage per credit hour, and then you've got diversions through the municipal court that has been earmarked to help fund the Safe Ride. So it's a community effort, it's a university effort, it's a good partnership to have, and if people don't adhere, unfortunately if they don't adhere to not drinking and driving, thank you for your donation, because part of that relates back to the funding of the Safe Ride. If you get arrested for a DUI and it's a first-time offense and you're put on diversion, part of that goes in to help funding the Safe Ride.
We talked to Hays Police Chief Don Scheibler the other day, who wanted to remind everybody that Hays does have an ordinance where you can't, and I forget what it's called, but you can't walk around with your beer in your hand around town.
It's called public consumption.
Public consumption.
And if you noticed here, like Wild West Fest, you usually have the parameter gates here. You do not have that here, but there is signage that's located around. You want to make sure that if you're drinking a beer that you don't step into a roadway or public property, because that does put you in violation of the local city ordinance. And we want people to have fun and not have any legal entanglements.
Okay. And while you're here, too, we want to remind everybody that you're very involved with Ellis County Historical Society, which is right behind us. And they're talking with some of the students, young students from Hays, about the history of this county.
Sure. We like to promote that aspect as well, because if you look, Hays has a strong history with the university homecoming as well as its German heritage. So the two kind of run hand in hand.
Wonderful. Well,
thank
you.
I find it very enjoyable.
Good. Thanks so much for stopping by. We appreciate it. Chief Ed Howell, who, of course, is the Director of Police at Fort Hays State University. We'll let you go and get busy.
Everybody have a fun but a safe weekend.
Thank you. We appreciate it, Ed. Now we're going to talk to Miss Sarah.
Good morning.
How are you?
I'm great. How are you? It's a little cold out here today.
Oh, I know. I'm thinking Miss Sarah Bloom, of course, is the Executive Director of the Downtown Hays Development Corporation. And can you stand up? I want everybody to. I'm going to grab the cord.
My bright yellow pants.
Look at this. She is decked out in Fort Hays State University, black and gold.
Fort Hays alum. Everybody should be in gold. It's
Absolutely.
TGOF today.
Well, and I'm an alum, but I'm in my Eagle blues, so.
You're working.
That's right.
Okay.
Exactly. Well, let's talk about Downtown Hays.
Yeah.
You've been the director now for how long?
Oh gosh, 7 months. A whole 7 months.
And you have been busy every day.
Yes, it's been wonderful.
There have been changes, exciting things going on, and something that you just announced. Talked to the City Commission about a week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, a couple weeks ago, and it launched yesterday. So we are trying to rebrand the entire district of downtown as the Bricks. I know there's a lot of people worried that the Chestnut Street District is going away because of it. It's not. I want to ensure everybody that our history will live on, and the Chestnut Street District is not going away. The markers aren't getting torn down. But downtown is so much bigger than the Chestnut Street District, and we want to make sure that everybody is able to use one brand, one name, one identity, so we can make sure that we're getting a lot of people aware of what our downtown has to offer and who all is a part of that.
So the Chestnut Street District, we'll explain, and you talked about the markers, those beautiful limestone markers that Pete Felton has helped with, the kind of pyramid shapes that we have that mark the boundaries. And that's kind of, I guess, the central core, if you will, of the historical area. But as you said, downtown Hays is outside of that region, and oh my gosh, the variety of things that happen in downtown Hays.
Oh, lots of stuff. I mean, we're in downtown right now. A lot of the festivities that people in Hays and outside of Hays that think about, you know, Oktoberfest, Fire on the Frontier, Wild West Fest, those are downtown. So downtown is the place to be in Hays for those big fun events.
And one of the things that you did when the university kicked off, and NCK Tech as well was invited, and the Hayes, and I can never think of say the
Hayes
name
Academy
right.
of Hair
Hayes
Design.
Academy of Hair Design, yes. Our three great institutions, educational institutions here in Hayes. You welcomed them back to Hayes, and
Yes.
really that was a great way to show off downtown Hayes to students who might not realize what's down here.
Exactly. Yeah, that event's called Core to Campus. This year was the third year that we've done that. My first year, of course. But we had a record number of students. We know at least 450 Fort Hayes students were present, about 80 NCK students, and about 50 Hayes Academy of Hair Design students. So a great number of students got to come out, walk around downtown, see what the stores had to offer. We had awesome gift door prizes for them to win, and almost everybody stayed afterward to see if they had won prizes, because we had iPads and cash and chamber checks and watches. We had some really, really good prizes this year, and it's just a way for us to say welcome back to Hayes, welcome to Hayes. If this is their first year, it's open to anybody. But then it also shows them that there's more than just Vine Street, because a lot of those students think, well, Vine Street's the main strip of Hayes, and that's where I need to do all my shopping, and there's so much that downtown has to offer. We want to make sure they know about it.
Well, and in particular for Fort Hays State students within walking distance.
Yes, exactly.
Because not every student has a vehicle.
Yeah, and we proved that by actually marching from Fort Hayes to downtown. So it's a
Literally.
pretty quick rock. Yes, yeah, it's a good thing.
So tell us a little bit about your office. You do where you're located, and you do work in partnership with other entities in Hayes.
Sure. Our office right now is located inside the Welcome Center at 2700 Vine Street, so right across from Serves at 27th and Vine. And in that building, in the Welcome Center, there's a lot of different entities. Not only is the HTC there, there's also the Hayes CVB, the Convention and Visitors Bureau. There's the Hayes Chamber of Commerce, and then there is the Ellis County Coalition for Economic Development. So lots of entities, and we all work very closely together because we're all working to bring tourists to Hayes, to bring businesses to Hayes, to create that commerce, and to let people know what businesses and what opportunities are available. So all of us work very closely. We partner on a lot of events. We partner with the CVB on Core to Campus. We're getting ready to partner with the Chamber for the holiday season. We're going to do a big Keep the Cheer Here campaign and encourage people.
Keep the what?
Keep the cheer here.
Keep the cheer
Yep, and
here.
encourage people to stay local, shop local. We're going to have some holiday cheer stations around town on Black Friday to encourage people, like, come stay in Hayes, shop in Hayes. We're even going to give you free coffee so that you can get your perk there, your Java perk. And,
what if I don't drink coffee? What else can I get?
We'll have tea, we'll have
good,
chocolate,
the tea.
we'll have coffee, but it'll be kind of a roving coffee station between Walmart and downtown and the mall, just to, again, bring that awareness of how important every single dollar is and how we want you to keep it here and spend local.
Boy, and there are lots of studies out there that talk about and show and prove that a dollar spent, just replicates itself. And
Yes.
Fort Hays State does studies like that all the time about you spend money here and it just
It
disperses
continues to
out
grow, right. Because
throughout
it goes
the community.
back into payroll, it goes back into taxes, it goes back into every little bit, but you shop online, you shop out, and none of it comes back to us. So unless you're ordering online and there's a delivery man that just happens to come into town.
And we have some of that.
And we do have a little bit of that, but even then it's just minimal compared to just spending $50 at a local business.
Absolutely. And one thing too, we talk about encouraging people to be here and to come to Hayes, but you're also marketing to people who already live here. And,
absolutely.
We have new businesses open up, we have businesses expand, and you need to make sure people are aware of that as well.
And just in this last 7 months, we've had a ton of new businesses opening up. The first one was Turquoise Ranch. They've been open for about 5 months now. And then just in the last few months, we've had Paint the Town, we've had Refine, Megan Coulson Photography, The Golden Griddle, Jumpstart Fitness. I mean, just a lot of different businesses coming in. We have another new business that's getting ready to come in. Chestnut Street Kitchens is closing, but we have another business coming in. Casey Shoemaker with Wedding Connections and Benella's Bakery is coming in. Downtown is just this vital, thriving district in our Hayes right now, and when one business leaves, another one is moving in right after it, which is great to see. Where that turnover, people want to be downtown, and it's becoming a high demand for Hayes, which is exciting to see.
And such a variety.
Yeah.
I'm impressed you could remember all that, but there is a wide variety of things. So how can people find out more about that? Now tell me the brick.
Yep.
campaign
Anything the
again?
bricks in downtown Hayes. We're branding downtown the bricks in downtown Hayes. We want people to shop the bricks. We want you to hit the bricks. We want you to paint the bricks, run the bricks, everything we want you to do on the bricks in downtown Hayes. And they can go on Facebook and learn more about that. It's just facebook.com/downtown Hayes. We have the map up if they want to see what the difference is between downtown and what the Chestnut Street District is. But they can also find anything they want on our website, downtownhays.com. I always have my cell phone on. They're welcome to call my cell phone, call the office 621-4171. But downtownhays.com has a lot of that information, and Facebook is always a good way to get more information.
And of course, those bricks obviously coming from the wonderful streets of brick that we have primarily in the downtown area. Oh, and yes, of course, the buildings.
I mean, a lot of the businesses that are in our district aren't necessarily on the bricks, but they're composed of bricks. I mean, everywhere in downtown, whether it be the street or the buildings, you're going to see bricks and the structures that come with that. So it's exciting. It's really exciting. This was not a quick decision. This was something that we worked on for over a year, that we partnered with the MDC at Fort Hays. So this was a lot of time, a lot of sweat, and it's going to be really exciting for us.
And you have a board of directors who's helped with this.
Yes, of course. Yeah, we have a 13-member board. Within that board, we have a marketing committee that's composed of board members, merchants, outside organizations that have marketing expertise as well. So it wasn't an easy decision, and we're really excited about it, and we hope that Hays can be too.
All right. Sarah Bloom, thank you so much. The Executive Director of Downtown Hays Development Corporation. Will look forward to more things, and especially the holidays coming along.
That's right.
We're going to take a break, and we'll be back with more from the 2015 Oktoberfest in Downtown Hays Municipal Park. I'm Becky Kaiser.
Interviews from Oktoberfest 2015 brought to you by Red Wing Termite and Pest Control. Ellis County Abstract and Title. Steel Fabrications. Hays Planing Mill. Hearing Solutions. Vanderbilt of Hays. Ellis County Historical Society. Master Cleaners. Carpet One. Tri-Central Office Supply. Truck Parts and Equipment. Auto Collision Specialist. Steiner Liquor. Emprise Bank of Hays. Hays Convention and Visitors Bureau. Coldwell Banker Executive Realty. And Eagle Communications.
And welcome back to 2015 Oktoberfest in downtown Hays. We're in the Municipal Park on the north side of the dike this year. I'm Becky Kaiser. You're listening to KAYS Radio and watching us on HaysPost.com. Glad to have you along. We have a special guest, unexpected guest. Roger Marshall. Dr. Roger Marshall is here with us from Great Bend. And of course, Roger, you are a candidate for U.S. Congress, and what a great place to meet more people and talk a little bit about who you are.
Yes, Becky, thanks for having me. I was excited to stop by and see Eagle here and wanted to say hi to some of my friends at the station. We were at the football game last weekend and had such a great time, and everybody there said, look, you need to come to Oktoberfest, so I'm excited to be here today.
And you're one of those people, I think, and you can hear the polka music starting to come up behind us. But Roger, I know that you're one of those people, we got to meet you when you had your announcement tour and you were at the Robbins Center at Fort Hays State University, and you talked a little bit about the importance of almost one-on-one meeting people and talking to them about what you feel is important in this campaign.
Absolutely, Becky. I've now been in 53 communities. I've sat down with several thousand people, had this same conversation. What's going on in your community? What's important? What can we do to help grow your economy? So it's the only way I know how to do it is to sit down with people and listen.
And that's something I think people probably appreciate, is for you to listen and to find out what they're concerned about, what they think needs to happen, and how you might be able to help them if elected to the big first. And it is indeed a big congressional district. Is it not one of the biggest in the country, I think?
It absolutely is one of the biggest. I think I've been spending about 3,000 miles a month on the road, changing my oil once a month now. So indeed, it's big. But you're right. The whole key is listening. I don't think I have all the answers. None of us have all the answers. But if I listen to people long enough, they're going to start telling me how to fix problems. And now people are starting to do that too.
Well, we are so glad that you were able to stop by. Now, you won't be in the parade, Fort Hays State Parade tomorrow, but you're down here today for Oktoberfest and in Hays. So
we'll enjoy the day. We're looking forward to got a son with me, so we're going to enjoy the festivities.
Wonderful.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Becky.
much for
Thanks.
stopping by, Roger.
My
We
pleasure.
appreciate it.
Have a good
Again,
day.
Dr. Roger Marshall, who is a candidate for the big first U.S. congressional district in Kansas. He's down here at Oktoberfest grounds and would love to hear from you about what you think needs to happen. We're going to talk to now the man of the hour. And I'm surprised, Nick Worth, that you even have time to stop by, but we're so glad to see you.
We're busy, but the sun is shining. All the organizations are set up, and we're ready to start our 43rd annual Oktoberfest.
43 years. And we were talking to Kevin Rupp earlier about some of the history of the Volga Germans and Germans from Russia and Hays. And of course, you come from a family that has been involved all these years.
Yeah, my dad, Larry Worth, who passed a couple years ago now, him and a handful of the other old Volga Germans are the ones that really kicked off the Oktoberfest here in Ellis County. So,
well, tell us a little bit about what's going to happen. A lot of people down here already, Nick, but our official ceremony to start the event is at 11 o'clock. What will happen?
At 11 o'clock, we'll start out with the national anthem, Pledge of Allegiance, and then we'll have our guest speakers talking. And then about 10:30, 10:40ish in there, we'll tap the keg, ring the bell, and festivities start.
And ring the bell, that is something that's a little bit new that we've done the last couple of years. Explain the significance of that?
We just started that last year, just as a sign to everybody that it has started, and at the booths at the back of the grounds can hear that we officially started, and the beer can start flowing, and everybody can start having a good time.
You know, we were talking to Chef Philip Kuhn earlier a little bit about some of the German foods that his students have made, and that is wonderful. We have people who this is not new to them. They've been making great German food for years because that's what they grew up with.
Yep. And then, of course, with NCK Tech, we added that new thing with the drive-thru.
Yes.
Across the road. So, we had the pre-order going on, but anybody's welcome to come drive down and come through the drive-thru, get beer ox and bratwurst. We're kind of starting out small this year. Hopefully next year we can grow it into some more foods and a bigger and better thing to help the community people out. A lot of people can't get down because of work schedules and everything else, so we wanted to do something a little extra to help those people out enjoy some of the good food too.
So, and as we mentioned, it's new this year that we're on the north side of the dike. There's also been a change in the availability of getting to the beer that you'll actually purchase, a beer band, I guess we'll call it.
Yes, we started a beer band to start covering overheads. Overheads go up. We don't want to raise the price of beer. So $2 for a beer band, and it also starts giving us a little bit of a head count for more pre-planning in the futures, and that money will be set aside to use for next year's for some more entertainment, because we want to increase the entertainment value here at Oktoberfest starting going forward. So.
And talk about entertainment, that wonderful polka music. We have some returning wonderful musicians.
Yep, Joe Dozal and Galen Schmidberger. They're our official Oktoberfest band, so they are going to always open a ceremony for us every year, and we'll just keep on going.
And we usually have, now, do we have a place to dance?
Yeah, we've got a lot bigger dance floor now. where the stage was always set for Wild West, that is basically the dance floor. It is like 3 times the size of the old place south of the dike. So
fun.
we got a lot more room for some polkas. So.
That's great. So some great changes down here. We also talked, we've been talking about the things that are directly related to German heritage, but we have some other booths down here with lots of arts and crafts that people may
arts
purchase.
and crafts. We got that set up here by the South Shelter. We want to continue to grow the crafting more and more every year and keep that going. The student organizations down here, a lot of them sell shirts and foods and pops and waters.
Good fundraisers for them.
Yes, good fundraisers for Fort Hays State student organizations, and not to mention all of the nonprofits that have been with us for many, many years. I mean, some of them have been here since for 43 years.
43
VFW
years.
is one of them.
Yes.
Lions Club. Great groups like that have always been here and supported Oktoberfest. And of course, their funds help all their organizations. That's what Oktoberfest is about. It's about our community getting together and helping out all the nonprofits down here. And some of theirs, their biggest fundraiser they have all year long. So we want to always continue that heritage of nonprofits down here to keep profiting and do well for their groups in Ellis County.
For the entire community. Yeah. Ellis County, we think Hays, and of course we do have maybe a bigger population, but we have some of those small Volga German settlements around.
Yep, yeah, we got Shenshin, Munger, Pfeiffer, Victoria, and we cannot forget Rush County. We got Liebenthal in there too.
Just down the highway.
Just down the highway. So it's, the Volga German societies of Ellis and Rush County is how it's always been set up, and we'll continue to roll that way. But anybody in the whole area, anybody in Kansas is welcome to come and enjoy the fun. And we hope, next year we get more interest from more nonprofits in the surrounding towns too. We don't care where you guys come from in the surrounding area. As long as you're a good nonprofit and you're for a good cause for your organization, that's what we want to see at Oktoberfest.
Well, we'll look forward to next year. We don't want to forget either. We were talking about the beer ban that people will be buying this year. Commemorative mug again?
Commemorative mug, the 43rd annual Oktoberfest mug. You can pick them up at all the beer booths and at the NCK drive-thru. I know a lot of people like to just grab a mug. They can pick one up over there too as well.
There are people out there with 43 mugs from every year.
Yes, yeah, 43. I've got a set.
You do.
And to the people that are missing mugs, if you do get a hold of me, I've got a storage shed full of mugs.
Oh.
I don't have all the years, but if people have got gaps in their collection, they're more than welcome to call, and I will get them to them. So.
What a great idea. I see Mike Cooper walking by. Of course, he'll be our MC as he has been for so many years.
Mike
for
has
the
been
ceremony.
involved with us forever. Mike's always done it, and he does a great job as MC for us every year.
Of course, Mike Cooper, those of you who probably know KAYS Radio for so many years, he retired a few years ago, and I think he's working harder than he ever has.
Yeah, he always did. We put him to work at Oktoberfest. When he retired, we said, sorry, you still have to come to Oktoberfest.
And I don't think he minds it a bit. He enjoys being down there.
He enjoys it. We love having Mike Cooper here, that's for sure.
And we enjoy having everyone down here. Again, park off and walk in on the north side of the dike. Oh, one other thing, just out of curiosity, Nick, talking about the heritage of Germans in this area, and we were talking to Kevin Rupp earlier about the importance of passing along this information and this tradition and this pride to the younger and new generations.
Sure, and everybody's welcome to come down here. Bring your kids down. We do have pony rides for the kids, free. Over on the east side of the tennis court, Blue Sky Pony Rides are here to give any kids free rides on the ponies.
Oh, fun. Yeah. So there's a lot of different things going on. Great family activities. Of course, the Ellis County Historical Society this morning having the educational booths for some of the kids in USD 489. I'm trying to remember now, talking about the Volga German Society, Nick, do you not have scholarships that
we do have scholarships that
tell us about those.
Are through us, through Fort Hays State. It's a second-year college, and then for every semester you do the application. You get those through the library at Fort Hays State.
Forsyth Library.
Yeah, Forsyth Library. You get those applications. You basically got to write a little bit of a history. We want Volga Germans, so we want to see a little bit of a genealogy paper, and then you'll get $500 each scholarship or each semester starting your sophomore year.
Wonderful.
Yep.
So another great example of what happens down here. Well, Nick, thank you so much for taking a little bit of time out. We're getting a little bit closer to 11 o'clock, so it's about 10:41 now, and we can hear them tuning up in the background. I'll let you go. Thank you so much. Have another great Oktoberfest. Thank you for all you do.
And thank you, Becky.
This is the other thing I was going to say. You said you invite people from anywhere. They come from anywhere. This
They
is
come
such a
from
great
anywhere.
place to see people that maybe you haven't seen for a year.
Yes, exactly. They tend to come back for Oktoberfest from lots of places in the state of Kansas.
It is so much fun. You walk up to people and you just, a lot of reminiscing goes on.
Yes,
so
it sure
It's a
does.
great time, and the weather has cooperated beautifully. So
My
come on
dad
down.
always said, eat, drink, sing, and dance, and have a heck of a good time at Oktoberfest.
That's
what it's all about,
perfect
folks.
way to think about it.
Yep.
Thank you so much,
Thank
Nick
you,
Worth.
Becky.
We appreciate
Thank
it.
you, Eagle. We appreciate you.
You bet. We're going to take a short break. We will be back with more from 2015 Oktoberfest. We are live on KAYS Radio, HaysPost.com, down here at the Municipal Park. Reminder again, we're on the north side of the dike this year, and our opening ceremony will be kicking off live with Mike Cooper, Nick Worth, and everyone else involved about 11 o'clock. So we invite you to stay tuned or come on down if you can. I'm Becky Kaiser.
Interviews from Oktoberfest 2015 brought to you by Red Wing Termite and Pest Control. Ellis County Abstract and Title. Steel Fabrications. Hayes Planing Mill. Hearing Solutions. Vanderbilt of Hayes. Ellis County Historical Society. Master Cleaners. Carpet One. Tri-Central Office Supply. Truck Parts and Equipment. Auto Collision Specialist. Steiner Liquor. Emprise Bank of Hayes. Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau. Coldwell Banker Executive Realty. And Eagle Communications.
And welcome back to Oktoberfest 2015. I'm Becky Kaiser. We are kicking off the opening ceremony in about, let me look the official timer here, 14 minutes?
That's what I think.
Tammy Wellbrock, Executive Director of the Hayes Area Chamber of Commerce, is joining us. And Tammy's pretty happy right now. Explain to us why your morning just got better.
Close up on this Spitzbuben cookie that will not last very long here.
And we this comes from a very special place this morning.
This is, yes, thanks to Becky Newell with NCK Tech for providing me with my annual addiction.
So why are you addicted to these, Tammy?
These Spitzbuben cookies are the best, and if no one has ever eaten them, they have really missed out on, to me, the flavor of what Oktoberfest is all about. Now, maybe other people crave some different kind of flavors, but Spitzbuben are mine.
Well, it looks like powdered sugar. You know, I have to say, I don't think I've ever tasted one. Powdered sugar on the top. And then what's the cookie
Well, it's
part?
kind of like a little bit of heaven mixed in with some joy. It's a pastry-like cookie and a jelly jam like in the middle. Can't tell if this is raspberry or apricot. Oh, raspberry or grape. And so they're just delightful, but you can get your other German cookies. I saw I call them the heart, so I'm going to probably butcher is it a Hartscha?
You're close.
Sorry,
need
all
our
those
list here,
German
our
people out there that I've
translation list.
offended. But, this is what's so fun. And we can already hear the polka music behind us. And
yes, officially.
The smells, it's just wonderful.
The aroma is great down here. The booths have been open already for a little bit, and I've seen people come in and start eating. I've seen people come in and purchase something and take it away. So whichever works for you, come on down.
Well, you know what's wonderful about these booths? They're all some type of nonprofit. So it really is a fundraiser taking place at every little booth.
Nick Worth was just talking to us about that, how important it is that these nonprofits support our community, and we in turn support them, and that's exactly what's going on down here today.
The Hayes Area Chamber of Commerce is fortunate to be one of the vendors, so we got to do a shout out to the Coors drinkers out there, but we will be actually serving the Coors beer.
Okay.
So that's our booth.
That's your booth. And then now the commemorative mug this year?
You know, I've seen it, but sure, we'll have those mugs all of the beer vendors will have those mugs for sale, as does the Ellis County Historical Society.
And then we were talking to Nick, it's a little bit different this year where people who want to drink the beer will actually purchase a band to do that.
This is true. We will have 2 band booths that are also going to be obviously getting the bands, but as well as just giving more information, because I understand there's a new thing with the voting on your favorite booth.
Oh, I don't even know. We'll have to check that out.
We will.
We will do that. Okay. So we want to thank you for being here,
Thank you.
Tammy, and the Hayes Area Chamber of Commerce. Now, as you said, you're not necessarily involved in the planning of this, but the Hayes Area Chamber of Commerce certainly supports Oktoberfest and involved with the entire weekend, Fort Hays State University homecoming being celebrated as well.
Exactly. And of course, you know, this is a celebration of our culture, of our heritage, but it is, in all reality, a huge economic impact to our local community. And of course, the Chamber is all about that. And so we appreciate all of our out-of-town guests, all of our local supporters, and encourage people to enjoy their weekend in Hayes while they're here.
Tammy Wellbrock, thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Executive Director of the Hayes Area Chamber of Commerce. And come on down. We're glad to have you here listening to us on KAYS Radio and watching on HayesPost.com. We have another visitor with us who is in his apron because he's a busy guy. Ron Bennett at the American Legion Writers booth. And you are an officer with the Writers, Ron?
Yes, I am. I'm Sergeant at Arms.
Sergeant
and
at
Road
Arms.
Captain.
Okay. So tell us what's happening at your booth today.
Well, we're having Tennessee pulled pork.
Tennessee. Does that mean the pork's from Tennessee or what?
No, that's just the way I do it. I competed on the barbecue competition circuit for years, and that was the recipe I always used. And the reason I call it Tennessee pulled pork is it was a recipe I got from a friend of mine who lived in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, I love that. So what's your secret? Are you going to give your chef's secret away to us?
Low and slow.
Say that again.
Low and slow,
which means?
I cook it at 220 degrees, that batch there. Each batch went for 12 hours.
Oh my gosh. So you've been down here a while.
I started cooking yesterday at 10 o'clock in the morning, and I finished up at 7 this morning.
That is wonderful.
Yeah.
For people who don't know, Ron, about American Legion Writers, some people do, but tell us what the organization is about.
Well, the American Legion Riders, when you see the motorcycles that are all flagged up preceding a funeral or a parade, that's what we're mainly known for. But we also do a lot of assistance for veterans. Recently, we had a veteran and his wife moved to town, kind of had a stroke of bad luck, and we helped him kind of get situated in the community. And that's what we're all about, is just providing services anywhere we can for the veterans. And be it the fallen veterans or veterans' families, whatever we can do, that's what we're here for.
How do people get hold of your organization?
How do they get a hold of us? They can just call the American Legion, and they'll have my contact number. Or as far as for a funeral escort or something, I'm the contact person on that. They know where to get a hold of me at the Legion. That's the easiest way, is just get a hold of them and they'll pass the call on to me.
Okay. Well, let's talk a little bit more about this great food. Tell us where your booth is located down here. How will people find you, Ron?
We're just right over here from this blue metal pavilion. We're just a little bit south there between the pavilion and the dike.
Okay, so again, remember that we're on the north side of the dike this year, and everything smells so good down here. When they choose your pulled pork, are we going to put sauces on it, or do we go with as is?
I encourage people to try it before you sauce it. I'm not a fan of serving meat with the sauce on it because you're hiding the quality of the meat that way. Sauce should accent, not cover up.
Spoken like a true chef, absolutely. How did you get in? You said you've been on the barbecue competition. So that is a big deal. How did you get started in that?
I was telling everybody that was a backyard hobby that got totally out of hand. My brother-in-law and I started out cooking, and he took me to a contest with him. It was just a little local contest, and I really got enthused with it, and I've traveled all over the central United States doing this. And had a restaurant of my own for 12 years over in Russell. And retired out of that. And now I'm primarily doing my thing with the Legion Riders.
Wonderful. Well, we're so glad to have you here today, Ron. And again, the proceeds will help benefit the riders and the things that you do.
Right. Mm-hmm. We're a big supporter of the Fort Dodge Soldiers Home.
Yes. I'm from Dodge City, so I know exactly what that is.
I'm talking about. Yeah, we take donations down there, and we also make monetary donations. We had participated in a run that went down there earlier this year, had over 120 riders. We raised over $10,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
Yeah. It's just really, it really gets you when you go down there and you see the gratitude on these guys' faces when you come in there and you present them, several checks and all the donations. That's what it's all about.
Absolutely. Thank you for doing that. Thank you for your service.
You're welcome.
It's so important that we remember everybody who has served, and we appreciate that. And people like you who are retired but not retired.
Yeah.
But you're having fun, aren't you?
You bet. Oh, I love doing this.
Okay, that's what it's all about.
For so many years, I never got a chance to come down Oktoberfest. And this is the second year now I've been able to make it, and it's like I won't miss it.
Good.
I love it.
And those who may remember, last year it was pretty rainy, and not that we're going to say anything against rain. We never do that in Hayes, but it got a little muddy. And today it's beautiful out here so far. There goes a monarch butterfly. Jeff, can you get that?
I don't think so.
No, he says no. The butterfly's too fast, but they're migrating through, and that's how beautiful it is down here in the park. The weather's absolutely perfect. So
gorgeous fall day today.
We invite everybody to come down. Ron Bennett, thank you so much for being with us. We'll let you get back.
Appreciate it.
We're going to take a short little break and come back with a little bit more before we go to our opening ceremony in about 6 minutes at the stage here in Municipal Park. And again, our MC Mike Cooper is up there, and we'll get things kicked off. But the booths are open, so come on down and enjoy. We'll be right back. I'm Becky Kaiser.
Interviews from Oktoberfest 2015 brought to you by Red Wing Termite and Pest Control. Ellis County Abstract and Title. Steel Fabrications. Hayes Planing Mill. Hearing Solutions. Vanderbilt of Hayes. Ellis County Historical Society. Master Cleaners. Carpet One. Steiner Liquor. Emprise Bank of Hayes. Hayes Convention and Visitors Bureau. Coldwell Banker Executive Realty. And Eagle Communications.